Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're checking out Hairy Tales by Arges Systems. This is a lemmings style sort of puzzle game with some strategy elements, and it features some very high level facial hair play, which is something that I've really been looking for in a game for quite a while. I found this one very refreshing. I tried it for about 10 or 15 minutes just to get a handle for it, because it is, I mentioned a puzzle game, and I have a bit of a mixed history with those on the show. So I'm probably going to make this a fairly brief episode, but I do want to touch on why I think this is actually a quite unique and quite interesting game, definitely worth a look. It is available on THER for just $5 right now, and it's also available on Steam Greenlight, where you can give it a vote. If after you take a look at it, it seems like something you might want to support, we can help it make its way over to Steam. So before we get started, let me just break down. So we've got an About menu. It's just got our credits. Always good to do. The hairy guy's a little gross. Sometimes he sticks his finger in his ear and then smells it. I'm not sure what that's about. But, I will give them this. The game has a lot of character and is very stylish in its own unique way. I find the aesthetic actually looks a little bit like a... Well, the clouds remind me a lot of Braid, but the general presentation of the game often looks quite a bit like Torchlight, which is actually kind of cool. Not exactly like Torchlight, but it's got a similar vibe to it in a way. Anyway, hopefully you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's look at the options very briefly. Got my setup all going. We're going to watch a very quick cutscene. It's like 30 seconds long, so let's do that. Looks like The Simpsons at the beginning. It is actually quite framey in this cutscene for some reason. I'm not sure what that's about. It's not just the video. So we live on this little idyllic sky island where we can pick golden apples all day and enjoy ourselves, and then of course, in true video game fashion, the corruption invades, and all the happiness is stolen right away from our islands, except there's some sort of a crystal/elephant foot that we can go grab and drag into this cave. That will make the corruption dissipate, and we don't even need Elika for this one. So let's actually do the tutorial together, because I don't want to embarrass myself too badly, and that's something I could actually handle. And besides, it's actually quite worth showing you to break down exactly what about this is so cool and interesting. Another thing that reminds me quite a bit of is the sections towards the end of most of the Katamari Damacy games, where you can roll up the world and there's all these these shapes, and you keep pulling them off the landscape, and then they just make a nice little coating for the outside of the ball. Anyway, you can just tap on the Harry, and he will run in the direction he is facing. So you do want to keep an eye on where he's facing in a general sense. So let's tap on him. And I believe we're just using the word tap because this is also available on iOS. So substitute the word tap for the word click. That's something I would have done. It's not a big deal, but the vernacular, I feel, does need to be adapted when you change platforms like that. I mean, most people wouldn't even care at all, but, I'm a little critical of stuff like that. I feel like it's not catering to the same audience in the same way. I don't ever say, oh, go tap on that folder twice to open it. No, you click on folders, but whatever. So Harry's will follow arrows, which is worth noting. So we've got our Harry right there. If he gets clicked on, he's going to walk straight ahead, hit that arrow with the mushroom, and then go diagonally back towards the exit there. So we're going to click on him, let things go right ahead, and that's going to be great. Alright, well done. Very nice. Alright, so this so far is pretty basic stuff. This is not anything complicated. But now let's start introducing some elements to make it a little bit more interesting. So we can tap a tile to turn it, and we can try it on the nearest arrow. As you can see, if I were to click on our Harry right now, he would hit that arrow, immediately go back the way he came, and fall off that ledge to his death. So we don't want that. We want to orient that arrow so it faces the other arrow, which will then orient towards the goal. So let's click our Harry. He'll go wandering off like a crazy person, and all is well. I will also point out the background music is very whimsical, very well presented. I think it really fits the theme perfectly. I mean, really, honestly, the graphical and the musical aesthetics that are going on here, and I don't think you say musical aesthetic, but you know what I mean. I think they really work well together. I think they mesh, and I think they do definitely give you a sense that this game is one of those instances where it's got mostly a complete package. I say that a lot in episodes, but whatever I say that, I sort of just mean that it the whole identity that this game wants to put across is cohesive in a way. The sound or the graphics or all of it together comes together in a way that sort of coalesces to transcend beyond, you know, the sum of its parts, I guess, is the way that you could say that. So we can drag tiles to change the world, and this is where things start to get a little complicated. So we can actually grab this one and drag it over there where it's actually of some use for us. Let's click our Harry. He will go grab all his mushrooms and make his way to the exit, and all is well. So now we're going to probably start combining some things together. As well as we've added now these stones here, which if I try to drag this, you'll see it's red, and they pop up to sort of say, no, you can't do that. So we're going to have to make do with the stones we can move around, and we actually have a number of ways we could solve this level as far as I can tell, which is one of the things that I think is quite cool about this game. It's actually somewhat versatile in the way that you might choose to approach some of these puzzle situations. In this case, we're going to do it like this. I think probably, like this is actually, I think, the way that makes the most sense. I also really like that the game is actually somewhat, I use this term sort of loosely here, but it's like a hardcore style puzzle game. Like it's actually, it doesn't really pull many punches. It's pretty seriously difficult when you get further in, but it also approaches it in a way that's fairly accessible and builds upon itself. And the difficulty curve, granted, it might be a little steep, but they generally give you all the tools you need right in the tutorial to understand how to properly traverse that. And then after that, it's really up to you, you know, to really figure it out and use your head, which is not something I'm great at doing during these videos, as I'm sure you might know already. So let's set our guy off here. I think we're already good to go. Obviously, this is still super simple. We're not actually into anything particularly tough. And there are also boss fights at the end of each chapter or world, I suppose. I'm not sure what they classify them as, how they separate the different levels or areas. But yeah, there are actually some cool things to find at the end of each area. So wells teleport Harrys and maintain their direction. So we need to use a well here. Let's see, our Harry is facing towards the upper left corner. We want to grab him, so he's going to actually hit that, go up, go out the other side of the well, and out to the goal. So that should work just fine. Hop in with that goldfish. You guys can have a party together, and all is well. Get it? I didn't even mean to do that. That was an accident. Promise. I know I'm very punny. So let's go on. Harry's turn right when they hit a fence, as I'm sure most of us would. So we'll actually, we don't even have to do anything here. This guy's just going to take care of his own problems. So if we click him, he's going to head through all the mushrooms, hit this fence, turn one angle right, and hit into the goal / teleporter to the next area. So far, so good. So now we find out we can turn a fence by tapping its tile. So let's put things into perspective here. So if we tap on our Harry right now, we're going to go diagonally down and left till we hit that fence. We're going to slide one tile right, at which point we're going to end up in a position where, had we not put this fence right here, we would have hit this tree, and we'll find out, I think, in the next couple levels or, you know, tutorial stages, that hitting trees means you now go backward, which would actually put us off this platform ledge right here, which we don't want, obviously. So let's win this level real quick. Very nice. There's like crazy ghoul arms that come out of those fences to redirect this Harry guy. I don't know what his deal is. He's getting involved with all these ghouls, but I guess that's the corruption or something. So you may need to adjust multiple tiles to solve a level. Well, ain't that the truth. So what am I going to do about this one? We could try and use as few tiles as possible to get through this. And right now, actually thinking we really don't have to adjust that many tiles unless I'm mistaken. So he's going to hit this fence, turn one right, which is going to put him in this direction. He should just go to the goal, right? Oh, he's facing the... I forgot to check which direction he is facing. That's totally my fault. Alright, let's do some reorienting here. So we don't actually want to go... wait, how do we want to go? We want to go in a way that's going to let us hit that fence and grab all the mushrooms. That is always our priority, grab all the mushrooms. And I think that might do it, right? I mean, as long as he's going to go that way. Yeah, I think he is. Alright, very nice. It seems like such a simple premise, but for some reason the fences, like, mess me up quite a bit, and I'm not sure why. I'm sure as we get further into the game, we're going to be, like, adjusting things on the fly and, like, switching tiles around while he's still running. And, you know, it actually reminds me a little bit of Back to Bed. with the way that we had to like drop apples all over the ground and like have the guy run in circles so we could use our time to think about where we want to go next. So it's a similar premise, and you know, I think it's pretty well executed actually. And when you add in the style factor and the fact that you can solve the levels in multiple ways and that the challenges are generally pretty hard, I think there's actually quite a bit of fertile ground to dig through here. Almost said mine. So Harry's turn around when they hit a tree. How can we capitalize on that fact? Well, we can have him hit the tree and then reorient this arrow, as I was just talking about, oddly enough. And he's just fine. That worked out pretty well. So Harry's will turn right when they hit each fence. We know that already. So where's he going to go? He's going to go down and he's going to hit that, then he's going to turn right, which is going to put him off the ledge. So maybe we don't want to do that. What do we want to do here? I kind of forgot how I did this one already. Can orient like that, but then this is going to be... No. Yeah, we're short a few fences here. What do I want to do here? Well, like that would actually get him, but he'd run right next to the goal. What if I do that, then he's going to hit this tree and then go down, I guess. Man, you'd think I just solved this that I'd remember what I did. Oh, I didn't realize these were separated. I thought these were together somehow. So I guess maybe that helps. I can hit this, he's going to go up this way. Oh wait, now there's not enough room to actually get all the mushrooms. Alright, what about... Gonna hit that, turn that way. Will he cross through... I'm not actually sure if he'll get this mushroom or not. He might just go right between them. Let's just click on him because I want to see what he does in this instance. Oh, he does get it, but he's going down at this angle here. Sometimes you can use your guy to actually, you know, check. That's not really going to help me. What if he's hitting into the back? Oh, he can hit the back part of a fence. I didn't know that. But I can't move that. Whoa, I just made things very complicated for myself. I think if I hit it right now, he would actually get to the goal, but he wouldn't get that last mushroom. I didn't realize you could get the mushrooms on multiple lives, which actually changes the strategy quite a bit. Well, that's unfortunate. I didn't get all three of them. But now I know that. If you go back, you can actually use one life as one path and then try to remap things a second time. And then this level is just telling us we have 3 lives to solve a level you can skip if you're stuck. And so if we wanted to skip the level, we would just go like that. And then that would drop us off at the first official chapter. So we actually haven't even started the game yet. And as you can see here, there appear to be a lot of freaking levels. I'm not sure if this is the entire game, but yeah, that looks like there's a decent number of things to get into here. You can show or hide the tip from the bottom left icon. Oh, that's what that's about. Okay, well that's kind of neat. Because yeah, that was kind of in the way a little bit. I was kind of hoping it would show up like down here where it like isn't so intrusive, but whatever, it's not a huge deal. So this guy wants us to grab this block and apparently rotate it in reverse direction. Why do we want to do that? That seems like the wrong thing to do, honestly. Well, whatever, I can move this wherever I want it to be. I can actually just grab this, turn it down. Is he gonna? I think he's gonna hit that tree though, which is not what I want at all. Let's just not even mess with that. Oh, he's facing that way. I should probably have noticed that already. Alright, so we'll hit that, go there. It's almost like pinball in a weird way. Bouncing this crazy caveman around. I feel like I need to reorient the majority of the level here to do this properly. Or, actually, maybe I don't. Maybe I just need to do that. I think that's probably a little bit of a better idea. Anyway, I wasn't going to get too far into the actual proper game. I mostly just wanted to run through the tutorial with you because obviously this kind of game is easily spoiled if you see the solutions to the levels. Once you've seen them, you're probably not going to have, as tough a time getting through them unless you forget like me. So there are some new conventions, of course. As we get further into the game, we're going to be dealing with all kinds of new threats. As we can see here, there is some sort of a horrible spike pit, and we're introduced to this crystal here, which I am kind of curious about what's going to do. This looks like I don't really have to do a whole lot of adjustment here, and this seems to be some sort of poison pit now. So let's just click on him and see what he does. Got our crystal. Okay, it destroys the corruption, just like I figured it would. Very nice. So that actually is a very cool visual effect to see that all happening dynamically like that, as well as it also gives us another place to have to get through. So we've got to make sure we hit that crystal, and then we also make sure we get to the exit. So all in all, some good challenge ahead of us. So I think we're going to actually wrap things up at this point. A fairly short episode, sorry about that, but I do want to encourage you guys to go check this one out. Vote on it on Greenlight if you think it's pretty cool. I do think it's quite cool. I'm probably going to be adding it to my Greenlight collection personally. So any help that you can throw these devs would definitely be appreciated. And as I mentioned, it's available right now on THER for $5. So if you want to go give it a try, it is available right now. Aside from that, that's been another episode. I hope you thought it was pretty interesting. I'm curious to hear your opinions on this one, because I don't cover as many puzzle games, at least in the recent few months, as I used to in the past. So let me know what you think about that. If you think I'm just terrible at puzzle games, should never touch them again, I don't know, feel free to say that if you want. I'm probably still going to do some anyway, because I actually quite enjoy these types of games. They just don't always record the best for me, because I'm just not super great at them while I'm, speaking and trying to think of what I need to say to inform you guys about the games that we're looking at. But hopefully you get the picture. I've been over that spiel a couple of times in the past. So that is going to do it for today's episode on Hairy Tales. Make sure you do visit the website, though, which is indie-impressions.com, if you want to check out all the old and newish videos in the series. They're all sorted, tagged, categorized, and you can sort them by distribution method and platform. If you want to see all the free games, all the Steam or THER games, so on and so forth, that's all available for you to do right there. You can also type in your favorite developer into the search box on the website, and if there is anything that I've covered, it will show up for your perusal. So you might actually find some back catalog games by a developer you might like. At least that's the goal for me anyway. So do feel free to check out the site. There's also forums over there as well, so feel free to start up a conversation or join in on one if you haven't already. There's also the fan site over at facebook.com/indieimpressions. If you want to leave a like on that, it helps me out a little bit, and then you'll get every day's new video delivered into your Facebook feed, as well as keep up on all the new news on the channel and any contests, game giveaways, and so on and so forth over there. I promise I don't post tons of stuff over there, between 1 and 3 at most per day. So I won't be flooding your stream or anything, or your feed or anything. But do that if you like. If you don't, that's fine. Everybody uses the internet in a different way, so I just want to have as many options as possible for everybody out there. Lastly, if you're an indie dev and you want to get in contact with me about the possibility of showing off your game on the show, the quickest way to reach me is to send me an email over at the contact form, which is on indie-impressions.com. Or if you just want to start up a conversation, the quickest way to ping me is at RockLeeSmile on Twitter. And all of my social media links are right in the description of this video, as well as the purchase link and Steam Greenlight vote link right in there as well. So feel free to go look through the description and come interact with me, say hey, talk about some indie games. Let me know your opinions on this game in the comments, of course, as always. And just generally, feel free to get a discussion going however you choose. It looks like the corruption's actually creeping into new areas now, which is kind of frightening. I didn't realize that it would do anything like that dynamically, so I guess there is a pseudo time limit maybe all on top of things. Very interesting to note. So I guess I'm kind of happy I left it on the screen for this long. So that is going to do it. Plenty of stuff to do. Visit me, check out stuff, leave comments, all that good stuff, and I will see you again tomorrow for another awesome indie game. So have a lovely night, and I will see you then.